Hi guys, and welcome to your second pick a card for the month of October. So the topic that we're doing today is of course another one of our poll winners. Thank you so much again to everybody who voted and everybody who suggested topics. And what we're going to be looking at today is blessings, opportunities, and changes that are coming in your near future. More specifically, we're going to be looking at the time frame from right now and the rest of 2021 as well as the year 2022. So there are 4 options for you guys to choose from. I'm going to show you each of the crystals one by one, and then please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. Number 1 is Dalmatian Jasper. Number 2 is green fluorite. Number 3 is spirit quartz. And number 4 is hematite. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose the Dalmatian Jasper, this is going to be a reading about blessings, changes, and opportunities coming to you in the rest of 2021 or in 2022. So we are going to start off by shuffling this tarot deck to see what exactly these changes are that are coming to your life. I think we will look at 3 today, 3 different changes or 3 different blessings, and then we'll look at some oracle cards to see advice from your spirit guides on how to navigate these changes or how to make the most of these blessings. And then I also want to take some oracle cards for time frames, because this is kind of a larger window that we're looking at here, like the rest of this year and all of next year. I just wanted to see if there are any like specific points throughout this window that you guys should look out for or remember. So that's the way it's gonna go today. We are gonna start by shuffling the tarot deck. I'm super happy to be using this one today because it was actually just sent to me as a gift, so I'm very, very grateful for this. And I purchase a lot of decks on my own, but I think there's something very special about the energy of a deck when it's gifted to you. So I hope that this reading will be blessed. For group number 1, what blessings, changes, and opportunities can they expect? So the first card that is coming out is the 8 of Cups. And let's get a card also to clarify the 8 of Cups. So to clarify the 8 of Cups, we have the Devil. Now, I know this can be kind of a scary card, but I actually really, really like the Devil to clarify the 8 of Cups, because the 8 of Cups is about walking away from something. It's about moving on from something that does not serve you anymore and moving to a place that is going to be more meaningful for you, more emotionally fulfilling for you. So when we pull this card for clarification, we can almost think of this as like a what are you walking away from? And you guys might know the Devil is about kind of a very restrictive situation, a very like a situation that holds you down, a situation that really dampers your spirit. You could think of this as like a soulless job or a dead-end job, or a situation where you are very, very closely supervised and micromanaged and told what to do, because the Devil, we often see the Devil as having people in chains. So while this could very well be, I'll start with the interpretation that this is a person or an organization that is doing this to you. So for example, like I said, this could be you guys walking away from a job that was completely tying you down, that was completely sucking your soul, that was very, very strict, that was very exploitative as well. Like you felt like you really weren't valued for the work that you were doing. This can also be moving out of a household or out of a living situation where you felt like you always had to walk on eggshells around a certain person because you never knew if they were gonna get angry at you. This can be you walking away from a relationship that was possessive, jealous, controlling, that made you feel bad about yourself. I think oppressive was the word that I was trying to think of. with this card, like restrictive and oppressive. And this is you freeing yourself from that. So these are some examples that I can think of where the devil is existing outside of you. But the devil can also talk about that voice in our head that we all have. So this is not saying like you are the devil, but we all have that little voice of the devil in our head that tells us you're not good enough, you can't do that, you will never amount to anything, just you don't deserve any better, stick to what you're doing now. That keeps us in our comfort zone and keeps us in our current situation literally for no reason other than we think we don't deserve better or we think we can't get better. So this could also just be a fear inside of you that was telling you don't leave, don't run away because there's nothing better for you out there. You can't find anything better. And of course, it can very well be a combination of both because we're just complex like that. And if you're around a person or an organization that is very oppressive and restrictive, you can definitely start to internalize that. Like if a boss, if a partner, if a roommate, whatever it is making you feel lesser and is making you feel unappreciated, with time, you may very well start thinking that on the inside too. Like, I can't leave this person, I can't leave this situation because I don't deserve any better, if that's what you keep being shown through their behavior. But what I see for you guys is that you're going to be able to make it out of this situation. You're going to be able to free yourself. And what's kind of interesting for me with this Eight of Cups is that I think usually this is a full moon, but in this deck, it's a crescent moon. And for me, crescent moon is all about our intuition. So you may not, or this is your guides confirming to you that you don't need to know exactly where you're headed to before you go. And I kind of see this in different ways in different readings. Sometimes I'll tell people, like, make sure you have a really, really specific plan in place before you move on. Make sure you know exactly where you're going to. In this case, for you guys, I feel like just knowing that you want to get the F out of here is enough. As long as you follow your intuition and get out of here, the universe will show you the way. But I think the most important thing right now for your own freedom, for your own mental health, is to get out of this situation. And you know, this is a reading about blessings and opportunities, so maybe very soon the universe is going to show you a way out. And I think it's important to take that and see it as a blessing from the universe rather than questioning, like, should I really go? I don't know where this path is gonna lead, or maybe now is not the right time. I think the universe is gonna offer you a way out pretty soon, and is encouraging you guys to take that. Okay, so let's look at a second blessing or change coming to you guys. Your cards are coming out quickly. We have the Four of Coins. Ooh, so this is like you guys you're protected, which is really nice coming out after this. I really, really love it on this deck. And it's so interesting because this bird, of course, is unique to this deck, this imagery here. And usually we just see a person clutching their coins. But I always got this feeling with the Four of Coins, like, there is some feeling of angelic protection here, and I just love that that is coming through in the artwork of this deck. This is like your confirmation that if you move on, if you free yourself from the devil, whether that's the devil within or a devil outside of you, you will be protected. You will get exactly where you need to go. And maybe there's like a confirmation here or a reassurance that you will not struggle financially or materially. Even if right now you have no idea, like, how could I walk away from this situation and be financially and materially okay? The universe is saying they're going to bring things, people, situations into your path to nurture you and to provide for you materially. Emotionally, of course, as well, but with this card, there's like an emphasis on the financial or material side of things. And in fact, I do think that you guys are going to be making some very, very significant savings within the next year or so. Like, you're going to be all taken care of in the material sense. So let's get a card for clarification about this one too. to clarify the Four of Coins, we have the Eight of Swords. So I feel like when it comes to these cards, the advice here is to not be afraid to ask for help, because when it comes to the Eight of Swords, this is a card that talks about feeling trapped or feeling like a victim in your situation, feeling like you can't reach out, feeling like you can't come forward. So when I read these two cards together, it's almost as if your angels are telling you there is divine support all around you. We have placed divine support all around you. And all you need to do is ask. And I know it can be very, very scary, especially when we have issues with receiving, or when we have issues with feeling like a burden, or we have issues with feeling unworthy of what we want and even what we need, especially when we've been dealing with this devil in our life. But your angels are blessing you with so much support. I feel like whatever situation it is that you're walking away from, I feel like people are literally going to be running to your aid. Situations are going to be falling into your lap. Like, oh, you need a job. You need a way to make money. You need a place to live. You need a guarantor. You need a witness. You need a reference. Whatever it is that you guys need to get on your feet and to get moving in the direction you want to go, I think that you're going to find time and time again that your angels have got you. But I think what's really important is just that you guys have the confidence to speak out about what you need, because the people around you can't always read your mind. So it's important to ask for the things that you need, even if it's not like saying to somebody, can you help me with this? But just putting it out there that you could use some help, because you never know, that person might know somebody who knows somebody and they can connect you with them. Just putting it out there so that people know what you need and people can respond to you, and not feeling like a burden or not feeling like you're asking for too much when you're doing that. Because that puts you in a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of situation where you don't speak up about the help you need, so you don't get it. And then it's like, see, no one wants to help me. So speaking up is very, very important. And I also want to tell you guys, like, when somebody offers you something, your angels want you to just say yes and receive it with happiness and receive it with gratitude. I don't know if it's, well, it could be a little bit of pride. I think we all have a little bit of pride. But with this group, I feel like it's more like, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to be a burden. So even when somebody is offering you something, you guys might assume like, oh, they're just offering that to be polite, or I don't want to accept that because I feel like that would be impolite. But your angels want you to get into the habit of, when someone is offering you something, to be grateful and to recognize it as an offer for you, and to graciously and happily accept it. And you never know, one day it might turn out that you can do something to help this person, and I'm sure that you would want them to receive it graciously. So let's get two more cards. Ooh, we have the Emperor. And the Ace of Cups. Oh my gosh. Okay, I really, really love these cards together. So the Emperor is all about confidence, empowerment, stability, standing on your own 2 feet, standing strong, feeling in charge of your life. I can almost see this as like a progression. And I love this so much, because the devil, in the energy of the devil, this is like one of the most disempowered energies, if not the most, or like a disempowering situation that you can be in. Whereas the Emperor is like the most empowered. He's like running his own life. He's making his own decisions. He doesn't have to rely on anybody. And actually, what I want to tell you guys is that the people you may see like in your community or just out in the world who seem like oh my gosh, they have it all. They're running their own life. They're standing on their own 2 feet. They're doing it all on their own. That may be the case now, but I guarantee you they got there by speaking up and accepting help from other people. Sometimes we just need that community and we need that help to get us back on our feet or to get us up there to where we need to be. And then we can say like, thanks guys, I'll take it from here. I'm good now. Sometimes we just have fallen down and we need somebody's hand to pull us up, and then we can keep walking on our own 2 feet again. So it's really important for you guys to be able to accept help with whatever you need, whether it be getting connections, getting advice, getting referrals, getting resources, whatever your situation might be, there is help coming for you. And it's really, really important that you're able to ask for it and accept it, because the future that is waiting for you is one where you accomplish everything that you're set out to accomplish. I love that all of these people are wearing red capes, because we can almost think of it as like the, what would you call it? The cloak of love and protection that is staying on you through this whole journey. You're going from this person venturing out in the night on their own, not sure where they're headed, a little bit uneasy about what could happen, and then you find this angelic protection. I got you. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. And now you're this freaking badass emperor living your best life and doing everything that you want to do. And I love that. Like, it takes vulnerability, and it takes humility, and it takes the willingness to accept help when you're down here to be able to get to this empowered big boss place. Like, it takes vulnerability to end up like this strong, armed, sturdy person. This is totally like a, what would you call it? Really, really beautiful character transformation, character development. That's the word that I was thinking of. This is like a beautiful journey of character development. So as the Emperor, I see you guys financially independent and financially free. I see you in your ideal living situation. Many of you might be moving out to your own place. The Emperor gives me that feeling like I have my own job, I pay my own bills, I have my own car, I don't have to worry about money, I can do everything by myself. And in terms of your career, many of you guys will either be self-employed or you will be in a position of a lot of authority in the job that you're working at. So your opinion is valued. You likely have some kind of executive power, like you have some power of calling the shots. You have kind of a high status and you're like the glue that holds something together. You're in a very, very high position. And with the Ace of Cups, this talks about emotional fulfillment. This talks about self-love. This talks about your cup being full. So again, not only is there a lot of material security, but this is also peace. This is also emotional fulfillment. This is also positive mental health, a healthy mind and a healthy heart. You're making huge progress in the next year or so for sure. Getting out of a situation where you feel powerless and afraid, opening up to the divine support that is all around you, and finally kicking life's butt and making it out on top and doing everything that you once told yourself you couldn't do, or doing everything that some people once told you couldn't do. You're like, freaking watch me, I'm gonna make this happen. And I really think that someday things could come full circle to where the people who helped you out along the way, you're now in this position to help them. It's really beautiful how it comes full circle. And we even have like repeating number 4s here, which is like, oh, and repeating number 8s as well. This talks about being on the right path. Everything is in divine order. You're protected. 8 talks about abundance coming to you. And it also talks about good karma. So I feel like you're going to get help from people. Then when you move up to this Emperor, you're going to get to help them back. And then like you each receive your good karma. Because like the number 8 is like a closed loop. The cycle will be complete. I'll just give like An example, let's say you ran away from home because your home situation was toxic, and then like a friend let you stay with them. They put a roof over your head for a few months, and then you looked for a job and you got a job and you became very successful, and then you buy them something really significant, or you pay for something really significant for them with your like high authority job money. You know, you helped me when I was down like this. Now I'm like this, and I want to pay you back. I want to thank you. I can kind of see something like this happening here. I wish I could have thought of a better example, but retrograde has just got me. It's got my brain in a state. So I think that you guys can get the gist of this character development and how much freaking courage you guys have to go through this journey. I'm so inspired by you guys, and I know that angelic support is going to find you on this path. Whether this is a career related journey, a relationship related journey, a home and living situation related journey, help is coming. So let's take a look at the oracle cards now. So I have 4 from all different decks. So the first one that we have is communication with the number 33. 33 is a number of manifestation, expansion, abundance. Again, 3 and 8 are like major abundance numbers for me. And it's very interesting that we have the message of communication here, because we were talking so much with the 8 of Swords about like, don't be afraid to speak up. This reminds me of in the Moonology deck, it's the new moon in Gemini, communication is key. And it talks all about like, we need to speak up about how we're feeling, what we want, what we need, because the rule of the universe is ask and it is given. And we need to remember that we have the power to do the asking. And I feel like this is actually your first step to empowerment. Your first step to becoming this emperor is remembering that your voice can shift your reality. Your voice can make change happen. You can use your voice as a tool to advance you, as a tool to be seen. This is like you guys getting your voice back. The number 3 is also related to the 3rd house of communication, and this yellow color is making me think of the solar plexus, which is about asserting yourself and expressing yourself. And if you guys are in this situation right now where you know that you want to leave but you're struggling, I think working on your solar plexus might be something that can help a lot to get the courage back. The next card that we have is peace. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. So you guys are moving to a much more peaceful situation within this window of time. I feel like a lot of your major sources of stress are going to be disappearing. And I feel like you're going to find yourself in a lot more of a supportive environment. So you'll have a lot more supportive coworkers, more supportive community and neighbors. And there will be a lot of peace in your relationships. Even if I put these together, this is like peaceful communication. I feel like some of you guys might be cleansing your relationships. Like there's some kind of toxicity that you're escaping here. Like a toxic living situation or work situation, could even be a romantic situation where it's like you just haven't been valued, and things that you should be able to talk through peacefully and calmly and openly have been made unnecessarily difficult and stressful by this toxic person or people. For example, like making a very reasonable request to your boss with a very reasonable explanation, and then they make you feel like selfish, like, oh, you don't care about the company. But really, it's like you're the one who's not being valued. I feel like you guys have been subject to a lot of like people projecting on you or people deflecting onto you. And it's like you can't have a peaceful conversation with them because anytime you bring something up, they're like making you feel bad for it. It's like they don't appreciate what you have to say. And what the universe is guiding you into is a lot more peaceful and understanding relationships where you can speak up anything you want without the fear of judgment, without the fear of dismissal, without the fear of escalation. Because you and the people in your life, you're all on the same side. You're all working towards a common goal. I think another thing that can help you guys reach out and ask for help is coming into the belief that it may be in this person's best interest to help you, or it might bring this person joy to help you. Getting into this place where you assume we're on the same side and we want the best for each other. It's not a me versus you situation. If you're in devil-like relationships or contracts or commitments, I feel like it can sometimes feel that way, where it's like me getting my needs met versus you getting your needs met. But when you're in peaceful and healthy relationships, you and the other person can get your needs met in a way that is compatible with each other, in a way that is harmonious with each other. Because you've got each other's back, because you're on the same team. And I think you're finding relationships during this window where it's like, it really feels we're not alone, we're a team, we're in this together. And it's such a heartwarming and such a beautiful feeling to observe right now as I'm reading it. We also have illumination. I love that there is a sun on this card because the sun talks about beautiful new beginnings. It makes me think of the sun rising after a long, cold, and dark night. It makes me think of solutions coming into clear view. It makes me think of answers coming. Especially with this image of you guys walking away into the dark, not really knowing where you're going. Sure enough, the sun will come to illuminate your path and to show you exactly what you need to do. And if all you know right now is like, I just need to get out of here, I just need to move on from the situation I'm in right now, that's enough right now. And your angels really want you to honor that. And as you go along this journey, the path will be illuminated. So I'm thinking of this as answers and solutions being shown to you, but also just quite simply a happy time coming. If I think of the sun in tarot, this is like a very carefree, childlike, celebratory energy. And when you're able to be playful and carefree and frolic like a child in that manner, it's because your guard is down. It's because you feel safe. It's because you're in a peaceful environment. So it's like your angels are putting you into an environment where you can really be yourself because you don't always have to like watch your back, or you don't always have to worry about survival and getting your needs met because materially you have everything you need. And that gives you the, I don't know what the word is, but gives you the luxury to focus on your pleasure, to focus on your self-expression. Because you have those most basic needs met, of feeling safe, of feeling secure, of feeling at peace. Some of you guys might have some project going that involves like communication and creativity. So like writing or singing, script writing, posting on social media, could even be like visual arts or something like that. And then we have Amaryllis with Pride. Aw. So first of all, your angels are so proud of you, no matter which step you're at in this journey, whether you are still over here, whether you are over here, whether you're over here, they're proud of you. And what they really want you to know is that, I guess it's not like you have to reach this destination to feel accomplished and proud of yourself and to feel worthy. Even if you're still over here and struggling to get out of the devil situation, your angels are still so unbelievably proud of you. And you should be so proud of yourself for how far you've come, and even just for the potential that is within you already. And I think within this window that we're looking at here, you're going to reach so many accomplishments to be proud of. How you've persisted through the tough times, how you've learned to fill your cup, how you've learned to take care for yourself, how you've healed your mental health, how you've accepted help and made connections with others, how you finally come to a place where you can express yourself and be who you want and work on what you want in this world, how you've come to a place where you are respected, where you are counted on, where you have authority, how you followed your intuition even when you didn't know exactly where it was going to bring you, how you kicked this devil to the curb and showed this devil who's boss. There's so much for you to be proud of. And I couldn't think of like a nicer card for you guys after everything you've been through or everything you will be through. You're a badass. You're a freaking warrior. And they're promising you that this will be a more peaceful and more playful chapter for you. You will be able to be playful. You'll be able to be expressive. You'll be able to be vibrant and silly and spontaneous and free because you feel safe and because you don't feel judged. Because the people around you are not judging you. Okay, so now we are going to shuffle this oracle deck. I'm going to take 3 of these and we're going to look at 3 different points from now until the end of 2022 that might be significant for you guys. So the first one that we have is Gemini, which is so interesting because I was saying this card reminds me of the new moon in Gemini card from the Numerology deck. We have Gemini here. So Gemini season of 2022 around late May to late June. Then we also have first house. So if you guys do know your birth time, then this could be like this season of your rising sign. So for example, I am a Taurus rising. I have Taurus in my first house. So for me, this card would be talking about Taurus season. If you are a Sagittarius rising and you have Sagittarius in your first house, then for you, this card would mean Sagittarius season. If you do not know your birth time, then take this as Aries season because Aries is associated with the first house. Okay, and then we also have Capricorn. So I'm gonna say that this is like the Capricorn season that is that's coming up, as in like 2021. So I'm gonna put these in order. So if you don't know your birth time, Capricorn season is gonna be significant. Aries season is going to be significant and Gemini season is going to be significant. If you do know your birth time, then you can think of this as like the season that corresponds with your rising sign. But this is everything that I'm seeing for you guys, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will see you in November. Bye-bye. Hi, number 2s. So if you guys chose the green fluorite, this is going to be your reading all about the blessings, opportunities, and changes coming to you in the rest of 2021 or in 2022. So we're going to start by shuffling this tarot deck and see exactly what these blessings and changes are. And then we'll take a look at some oracle cards to get you some advice on how to navigate these changes, how to make the most of these blessings and everything like that. And I also want to take some oracle cards to look at time frames that might be important, because the window that we're looking at today is kind of long, like from now until the end of 2022. So I just want to see like when specifically within this window might be a significant time frame for you. I also just want to say Mercury retrograde is really kicking my butt. So if I'm like stumbling with my words or making kind of longer pauses than usual, please bear with me, and I apologize for that. But let's get right into it. I'm really happy to be using this tarot deck today because this one was actually just recently sent to me as a gift. So I feel a really special energy with it. I'm really, really grateful. And let's see for group number 2, what are the blessings, changes, and opportunities coming? We're starting off with strength. And the King of Coins. Nice. So it definitely looks like there is some abundance coming to you guys, or some career opportunity coming to you guys. And it hasn't been easy. I feel like this is something that has required a lot of patience from you guys, because that is something that is included in the Strength card. And also the King of Coins does very much have this slow and steady and patient and consistent and perseverant kind of vibe to it, especially in this deck because it's illustrated as a turtle. Strength, it has a little bit of a restraining our emotions or balancing our emotions kind of energy to it. So what this looks like to me is you guys have been in the pursuit of some career opportunity or some career advancement or some financial goal that has really been taking its sweet time coming to you. It's been like trying to pull, I don't know why I'm being shown this, but like to pull a mule that is refusing to move. Almost kind of feels like the universe has been stubborn with you on this. And so with strength here, these are like those raw, impulsive emotions that come up, like anger, frustration, impatience, exasperation. And in a way, it's almost like you've had to wrestle with yourself too, because it's like you've had these thoughts of like, what the fuck is going on? Like just wanting to like blow up or just wanting to throw in the towel, getting really, really frustrated. And with strength, it's like you have to temper that part of yourself and bring this gentleness and bring this compassion to the situation. You have to have a lot of understanding for the other parties involved, have a lot of understanding and patience with the universe as it unveils its plan. So it hasn't been easy. But I feel like this journey has made you guys very patient, very mature. Maybe it's challenged you to become an observer of your emotions, learn how to calm yourself and bring yourself back to that place of balance. So it's been a journey. It's been a long journey. And what I see here is that all of your patience, all of your waiting, all of your efforts is finally worth it. And I love that there is a tree on this card that we can see the roots, because I love that analogy of like the deeper the tree's roots grow into the ground, the taller it can grow. So it's like all of the successes coming to you are a direct result of the time that you have taken to grow your roots. A direct result of all of the effort you've put in. Like you're getting out of this situation exactly what you've put in. So the first blessing coming to you guys is all of this time and effort paying off in your career. So for some of you, this could be like a job search, or you've been really, really fighting to get a promotion or to change jobs, or you've been really, really fighting to save money and reach a certain financial goal, or you've been really, really fighting to get your business off the ground. I think it has something to do with material success in some way, because we do have the Pentacles energy here. Strength is Leo energy, so it almost feels like whatever you've been putting efforts into is like your baby in some way. And I think I say that often with Leo energy because it is the energy of our self, of our ego, of our authentic expression. And it's also related to children, being related to the 5th house, or like extensions of you, because like your creativity and your expression is an extension of you. So I do think it's something that you really, really care about. It's something that you've had a deep emotional investment in, and that's why maybe it's been such a roller coaster, because you care about it so much. But your first blessing is that all of your efforts are paying off in a major, major way. And I think going into the year 2022, we're going to see you gradually becoming more and more wealthy, gradually becoming more and more confident in what you do in the world, becoming more sure of your place in the world, and slowly but surely realizing like, yes, I'm such a good fit for this position. I was so meant to do this. And even sort of becoming a person of authority in the field that you're in. With the King and Queen of Pentacles, I often see it as somebody who is often asked for guidance, often asked for advice, because people respect you and your journey so much that they want to know, like, how did you get here? How can I do that too? So this triumph that you guys are seeing here, I think is going to be highly admired. Okay, what else do we have for group 2? We have the Devil coming out and the Magician. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know that the Devil can be kind of a scary card. I know that it can be kind of a negative card. And actually, this same card showed up in group 1's reading in sort of more the negative or toxic manifestation. But in light of what we just read here and the fact that it's coming out as the Magician, I really, really love this energy for you guys. You might know that the Devil is related to Capricorn energy, related to 10th house energy. So it can actually talk about somebody who is very ambitious, very hardworking, who doesn't take no for an answer, who is in control of their life. And especially with this imagery here, it's like you took this situation and you took this challenge, and like the way it's coming to me is like you made it your bitch. I know it's kind of like a weird way to put it, but it's like you guys just kept going. You were stubborn. You didn't take no for an answer. You were patient, you persevered, and now you're coming out on top. With this being related to 10th house energy, the 10th house is literally the house like sitting at the very top of the zodiac wheel. So this combined with the King of Pentacles, you're becoming like one of the top dogs in what you do, or you're becoming one of the best in what you do. So if you guys are like a company employee, by the end of 2022, I feel like you're working your way up to like a boss position or a manager position, something that has a lot of respect and a lot of admiration. Or you're even like working up to, like if you're starting your own business, you're working up to a place where just your business alone is enough to provide for you. So like you're fully your own boss, you're fully independent. There could also be an interpretation like, okay, I'll give my musician examples because you know I love doing that. Like you go from being this struggling artist to by the end of 2022, like you have a number 1 or something like that. There's this idea of you guys being on top. Like you're number 1 on trending, or you're number 1 on a chart, or you're employee of the month, or you're winning some award. Because you stuck through it here and because you were stubborn here, and now you're getting your distinctions. That's how I'm seeing this Capricorn energy come through here, like high status, high position, best of the best, especially because King of Coins for me is also like best of the best, like real top dog energy, like you earned your way here. One thing that might be frustrating for you guys, and maybe that's actually like the negative the negative connotation of the devil in this reading is that I feel like a lot of this, like you guys struggled through this alone. You struggled in silence, and there was a long period where you put in a lot of effort with no immediate results. And so for a lot of people, your success looks like a blow up. It looks sudden. And there's going to be some people who try to discredit you, I think, because they're jealous of you. Because to them, it looks like you just came out of nowhere and all of a sudden you're employee of the month. You know, like let's say you enter into a company and then you become like employee of the month, like the next month, or you get a bonus or you get a promotion the next month. There's all these people who are going to be like, why did that new person get a promotion? Like, I've been here for this many, you know, oh, they must have gotten it from some like dishonest way. They must have done something shady. It's like they're trying to discredit because they don't see the long ass struggle that you guys have been through before. To them, it's like you just waltzed in here and succeeded. But behind the curtain on your end of the story, that's not how it is at all. You guys worked your butt off for this. So I think that's why the devil is here. It's really important that you don't let those voices get to you. Don't react to them. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't need to fight back. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone because you know on the inside that you deserve this. But also there's a danger of maybe like you could start believing them, which I know is crazy, but sometimes we do get this imposter syndrome when we become successful. Even though deep down we do deserve it and we've worked really hard, it's just like that sometimes. Like, and that's the devil. That's that sneaky negative voice in your head. The sneaky snake in your head that finds some way to put you down, finds some way to speak negatively about yourself. So it's important that you don't become impressionable to that or fall for that or think like, oh my God, are they right? And don't feel guilty either. If you are, you know, if you're surpassing people or if you're progressing faster than people, don't feel guilty for that. Don't feel undeserving of that because you are going to shoot to the top eventually. So just don't let those voices get in your head. And even if it's the voice of yourself, like you know, we all have that voice that speaks down on us. It's just a part of our ego, but it's important that you don't let that get to you. And we have the magician, which is like, you're so powerful and you're made for this. The magician means you're made for this. It means you have what it takes to be successful. You got here with your own will and your own actions. And I love the magician. It's like you work together with the universe so beautifully, even when it like frustrated you. Like I feel like the universe told you, be patient, it's coming in divine timing. And you're like, oh, fuck. But you work with the universe anyway. And you never threw in the towel anyway. Even when sometimes the universe and your guides were driving you crazy. You were like, I know I'm being guided to the right place. I know that they're guiding me here for a reason. And I'm going to work with you. I'm going to do the dance with you. And that's why the magician is like omnipotent, because the magician just harnesses that infinite intelligence of the universe and is able to quiet that voice of the ego who's like, it's taking too long. This isn't going to work. Trust the universe and goes for it anyway. You manifested this success and you're so deserving of it. And what you should take from this is that I'm so freaking powerful. I can make anything happen. So just block that devil out of your ear. There's a lot of major arcana going on here. So far you have 3 major arcana and a king. So really, really powerful energy here. What else? What other blessings and changes are coming? Judgment, another major arcana. Judgment and the 2 of Cups. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. So you're definitely, what I see here is definitely a leveling up. And I do think as a result of this leveling up, there's going to be a change in your relationships in terms of like the people who are in your life and the people who are not in your life. And and also like the quality of your relationships. For those of you who are wanting someone from your past to come back, like if someone, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people don't want their ex or an old flame or something to come back. But if that's welcome to you, if you are longing for someone to come back, I do feel that this can be indicating them coming back. Could even be an old friend. Like if you want to reconcile with an old friend, an old lover, a family member, I feel like the possibility for reconciliation is there. Because I see this person coming back with more maturity and more objectivity. Like you had some time apart, and I feel like this person was able to cool down and look at what happened from an objective place and say, oh, I was being way too irrational. I was being too emotional. I was being too defensive. Now that they've had that time and space to think, they can kind of calmly go over what happened. And I feel like someone might be coming back to talk things out with you, to apologize to you, to move on in a better direction. Again, I really, really feel this is only for those of you who are wanting that and welcoming that. But it could be a relationship of any kind, whether romantic or not, but I do think it was a very close one. So that could definitely be an interpretation of these cards together. Some of you from this higher perspective could even be like, you're in such a good place in your life now that you can focus on love. You can focus on bringing in love and manifesting love into your life. But judgment can also talk about moving in a new direction, moving on. And I can kind of see some of you guys like, it's like there was a person that you were really hung up on. But now that you have this higher perspective, now that you're in a better place in life, you're more confident, you're more successful, you're enjoying yourself, almost like this connection loses its spark. And you're like, you know what? I feel like I don't feel about this person like that anymore. And you might be realizing that the reasons you liked this person were because you thought that they could complete something in your life, or you thought that they could fill some void in your life. But then you realize, when you realize you're the magician and you can take care of yourself, you can just wave your wand and bring any experience you want into this life. It's like you stop feeling like you need this person, or you stop feeling attached to this person. And you're like, you know what? I feel like I'm just going to do me and live my life. And through doing that, you bring in better matches for you. There's something about you guys bringing in better matches. And I feel like there were so many different interpretations for that. And also for the sake of my muddled Mercury retrograde mind, I'm just gonna recap them. So a welcome and positive reconciliation with somebody from your past, where you're able to move on and level up from what happened previously. An assessment of the relationships in your life. So there could be like a moving on from somebody where you realize, I didn't really like this person for the right reasons. And then creating space for the right people to come in, creating space for your soulmates, creating space for your highest connections to come in. Because with judgment, it's like, I'm ready to answer the call of my soul. You're ready to attract people who will serve your highest good, and you will serve their highest good. You're ready to attract your divine counterparts, romantic or otherwise. You're ready for your perfect matches. That's basically what I see here, but it could play out in many different ways. So let's take a look at the oracle cards now, which are over here. There's 4 different oracle cards from various decks that I previously shuffled. So the first one is completion with the number 9. So yeah, this talks about a cycle coming to an end. The number 9 for me, even though this card says completion, it's kind of like near completion. So this breakthrough in success that is coming to you guys, it might actually be in the very near future. And what's going to be, I think, the most noticeable change between like what you're doing before and the career and the position that you're stepping into now is that you feel like it's more in alignment with your mission, or you feel like it's more in alignment with your calling. And it's really interesting that Judgment is here, because this is about like answering the call of your soul. This is about stepping up to your destiny. And so maybe this Two of Cups is like a soulmate that you share a very similar mission with, or you share a very similar calling with. But what you're doing in the world, it's no longer like just a job. It's no longer just a way to make ends meet. But yeah, it's like what we were talking about with strength. It's like it literally feels like your baby. It feels like an extension of you, because it is you. You feel so sure of your place in the world. You feel so sure of what you're doing. It's not just like getting a job for the sake of getting a job, if that makes sense. This is what I was meant to do. This is what I feel so good doing. It's like your ikigai, which is this concept of like what you love to do, what can make you money, what you're good at, and what the world needs. And it's all combined into one perfect vocation, and that's your ikigai. Well, probably vocation isn't the right word, but I feel like this is what you're finding. And it does have that sense of completion, that sense of fulfillment. I think with this number 9, it's also reminding me of the Hermit. So I feel like you guys, as you move up here and get a higher perspective, you're realizing more and more, like, what is my desire for my life? What is my definition of success? What is my definition of making it? What is my definition of luxury, of abundance, of fulfillment, rather than just slapping on society's definition? And I think I was talking about this in, was it the last Patreon reading? I think so. No, it was not on Patreon. It was a YouTube reading. But I said, like, for some people, success is like living in a freaking penthouse in a fancy big city. For other people, success might be living in a little cottage off the grid and like growing your own food. So it doesn't have to just be, and I feel like society would lean more towards the penthouse one, but you get to decide for yourself what success is. And it kind of ties back to the devil as well, with like not letting the influence of other people's opinions get in your ear. And as you level up more and more, you're getting closer and closer to remembering and integrating your own definition. You don't need other people to like think that you've made it to have made it. It can be a personal experience. You don't have to prove it to anybody. And that's the Hermit. The Hermit just like does his own thing. He doesn't give a shit. He's just following his own inner light and inner compass. We have Failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. That was something else I wanted to say with the Judgment card, and it slipped my mind, is that I feel like Judgment represents this moment in time where we've come to the finish line, we've come to our destination, and we can look down from the top of the mountain and see why everything panned out the way it did. And I think you guys are realizing that all of the struggles you went through, they were all opportunities to learn. They were all opportunities to grow your strength. They were not failures. They were just obstacles. It's only failure if you give up, which maybe you guys were very close to doing at some point, but you didn't. You did not fail, you made it through. We have growth. Yeah, I feel like I don't have to explain that one too much, but you guys are really, really blossoming with this King of Coins. You guys are really, really coming into your own. You're really coming into a profession or a vocation or whatever the word is that is very, very authentic to you. And the flower and the tree, they're making me think of health. They're making me think of longevity. This might be something that continues to give you abundance for a very, very long time, and that makes you happy for a very, very long time. Some of you guys, and this is kind of like me, before I found tarot and before I found YouTube, I was changing jobs like every year, sometimes like more than once in a year. And now I've been doing this for 2.5 years, and that's the longest I've ever kept a job. I'm like covering my face because I'm like embarrassed, but no, don't be embarrassed. It's just that you haven't found the right job yet. And I used to just think like, yeah, I can't stick around to anything. I can't commit to anything. I just get bored so easily. I just can't focus. I can't pay attention. But then I found this, and like, we're 2.5 years and counting. So if you guys can relate to that, like if you've been the type to get bored in jobs very easily or change around your jobs all the time, it could just be that you haven't found your ikigai yet. And yeah, there's somebody waiting for you who has the same or a very, very similar purpose and calling. And the next card that we have is Daisy with Innocence. Innocence is making me think of purity. It's making me think of purity. It's making me think of childlike wonder. It's making me think of anything is possible and you can always start fresh. And innocence is the opposite of guilt. So maybe with this judgment here and this failure, I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. This might be about you guys looking back on your journey and no longer judging yourself for the mistakes that you made, no longer judging yourself for the times that you have stumbled, no longer judging yourself for the times that you allowed the voices of the devil or devils to get to you. And realizing at any given moment in my journey up until now, I always did the best that I could do with my knowledge at that time, with my resources at that time, with the mental state that I was in at that time. I always did my best. And it's easy for the future you who knows everything to look back and be like, that was stupid. But in the moment, your past self was just doing everything they could with their limited information and with their limited perspective. So, and I just realized that's another meaning of judgment, is like look back on your past self with compassion. So I think that's what this innocence is talking about. And I think your advice to make the most of this blessing is, rather than to judge your past self and your past mistakes, is to be grateful for them. Literally, like write a letter to your past self or just say to your past self, thank you. Thank you for going through what you went through. Thank you for doing the dirty work so that I can be here today. Thank you for walking so that I can run. Yeah, I think that's what this innocence is talking about. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel like you messed up, because you did the best you could in any moment. And now you can start fresh. Okay, so now we are going to shuffle this Celestial Bodies Oracle deck for some time frames. I'm going to take 3. So the first one that we have is lunar eclipse. I believe that the next eclipse is in May. There's a partial eclipse in November and there's a full one in May. If I'm not mistaken, you guys know I do get this wrong sometimes, so I'm gonna put a subtitle just to confirm or deny what I just said. Then we have the 4th house. So this can be talking about Cancer season, so around late June to late July. But if you do know your birth time, this can also be referring to whatever zodiac sign is in your 4th house. So for example, I have Leo in the 4th house. So for me, this would be talking about Leo season. And then we have Grand Cross. So I would interpret this as 3 months, because when planets are forming a square with each other, they're 90 degrees apart. So there's like a quarter, so 3 months, if that makes sense. That's how I interpret it. I think an easier way for me to have explained that is like if two people's sun signs are square each other, they're 3 months apart. So that's where my interpretation of 3 months comes from. Mercury will not let me catch a break. I'm very sorry. So when the next lunar eclipse is, which I will have put a subtitle to confirm that, Cancer season, or if you know your birth time, you can think of this as the season of your 4th house zodiac sign, and 3 months from now. Yes, so these are all the messages that I'm seeing for you guys, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in November. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the Spirit Quartz, this is going to be your reading all about the blessings, opportunities, and changes that are coming to you by the end of this year or in the year 2022. So we are going to start by shuffling the tarot to see what exactly these blessings and changes are. And then we're going to look at some oracle cards to get you some advice on how to navigate these changes, how to make the most of these blessings, and everything like that. And then I also want to look at some oracle cards for time frames, because the window that we are looking at today is quite long, like from right now until the end of 2022. So I want to see if there's anywhere, you know, specifically within this window that you guys should keep in mind. But that's how it's going to go today. So let's get right into it, starting with your tarot. This deck was actually sent to me as a gift recently. I'm very, very grateful and really happy to be using it today, because I feel like decks that are gifted just have a really special energy to them. So for group number 3, what blessings, opportunities, or changes can you expect? The first card that we have is the 7 of Swords. And next we have the Moon. Interesting. So both of these cards kind of have undercurrents of illusion or not seeing the truth of a situation. And when it comes to the Moon in particular, it does kind of have this element of fantasy or getting carried away with your emotions. It has Piscean energy, and Pisces does tend to get carried away with their emotions and I guess work things up in their head. They tend to either overly romanticize or overly worry. I have quite a bit of Pisces energy in my chart, and I have a lot of 12th house placements. So if you guys have this energy in you, I definitely feel for you. But what's interesting, in this card, we see there is, I think this is a coyote, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like the coyote's shadow is a much bigger and menacing kind of being. Kind of even looks like a dinosaur or something like that. So when I put these together, it seems like you guys are realizing that something that you have worked up in your head isn't as much of a big deal as you thought, or isn't as scary as you thought. And there's a couple different ways that there's a couple different examples that are coming to me. Sorry. I've said this for the previous pile as well, but it is retrograde right now. And I feel particularly like scattered today. And it's just been kind of hard to like get sentences out of my mouth with the words in the right order. So please bear with me. I will try my best. One example that is coming to my mind is that maybe there is a person that you have put on a pedestal. Like you have thought they are so perfect. You could never be in their league. You could never live up to their standards. But what's happening here is a change in your mindset. And it might be something that is shown to you where you realize that this person isn't really all that. Like they aren't the royalty that you've cracked them up to be. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I feel like for many of you, you know, overly romanticizing this person and like blowing up their significance or their perfection in your head has actually made you afraid to approach them, like discouraged from pursuing them. So maybe seeing the reality of who this person is makes you less scared and makes them more approachable. This could be somebody who you are romantically interested in. It could be like somebody that you look up to and have wanted to work with, somebody you want to be friends with, but you get so in your feelings about them and you fantasize about them and how perfect and dreamy they are, and I could never be in their world. And then it's like they're just a dude, or like they're just a person. And that makes you able to approach them. Now, for some of you guys, you might lose interest in this person entirely. That is also a possibility, but could be the start of something really amazing because they're not on that pedestal anymore. It's interesting that we have the Seven of Swords here because this is a card that actually I took this from another reader, but they associated the Seven of Swords with the internet and social media. And the reason for that is because Seven of Swords can talk about deception or personas or not seeing the full picture. And when we present ourselves online, we are deceiving people in some way, whether it's through omission of certain details in our life, whether it's through filters that we put on our pictures, whether it's through romanticizing certain parts of our life. We do put on a persona online, and I think to some extent it's inevitable. So maybe some of you guys have seen, like, maybe this person has a huge following, or they just post things about their life that makes them look really, really cool, and you feel like an outsider. But then maybe you get to meet this person and you realize they're just like you and me. They're just like everybody else. And then you realize that you can be equals, you can be friends, you can be companions. And also it's interesting that the moon is associated with Pisces because that is Neptunian energy. And Neptune also has to do with like media, like cinema, internet, because again, it's like overly perfected or overly romanticized portrayals. So I honestly feel that for many of you, this is going to be a positive thing that removes a lot of your anxieties, and it removes a lot of illusions that were not serving you, and it makes you feel a lot more comfortable. And this is going to help you get closer to this person or get closer to these people. It can also even be something like you've just been comparing yourself to others and feeling inferior, because the moon can also talk about like not feeling good enough, feeling anxious about your worthiness, doubting yourself. So maybe there was this person that you were looking up to and you thought they were so perfect, and then some scandal about them comes out, or like it's exposed that they were lying about some part of their life, and you're like, shit, I really need to stop comparing myself when I don't know the full story. So that could be something that's shifting in your mindset as well. And then the other example, sorry, there's a lot of them, but it also came to me like someone who's afraid of public speaking, for example, and they blow it up in their head like it's this terrifying thing, and then they go and do it and they're like, holy shit, that was so much fun. That felt so natural. I loved it. So the illusion was that it was going to be really scary, that they couldn't do it, that they were going to get stage fright. And then when they went and did it, it was like a breeze. It was like they felt like they were born on the stage or something like that. So yeah, like I said, probably positive for most of you. For others, it might be like, ugh, you really aren't all that. You were portraying something that wasn't real, and then you just walk away. But I feel like we've hashed this out in enough different ways. So let's see what else is here for group number 3. We have the Two of Coins. So this is the Two of Pentacles. And we have Temperance. Okay, so very interesting. You have another set of 2 cards that have kind of a similar undercurrent. These have similar themes of balancing, of juggling, of finding equilibrium in your life. So I'm going to start with the Two of Coins. And actually, the first thing that I want to interpret from this might be kind of literal. There could be a baby coming into your life, whether it is your own baby or somebody in your family, like a niece or a nephew, or a baby cousin is being born, or like one of your close friends is having a child. and that might be a nice blessing in your life. Or I just noticed they're like their upper bodies and lower bodies are switched. But another thing could be a new pet, like a new animal coming into your life. So there is some bundle of joy arriving in your life, whether it is your own or somebody else's. But if it is somebody else's, I feel like you will still get to spend a lot of time with them. So like, if this is a niece or nephew coming into your life, I feel like you will get to see them a lot. Or like if your friend gets a little baby puppy, you will get to babysit the puppy when your friend goes away, or like go over to your friend's house and play with the puppy all the time. I feel like you're gonna have a good balance in your life. And what I think is happening here is like this little bundle of joy is bringing some purity into your life. Like the way they interact with the world with such purity and innocence, it helps to ground you, and it helps you to remember what really matters in your life. Because there's this meaning with the Two of Coins as well, that you might be starting to take things too seriously. And it's so interesting. I can kind of see how it matches with this, because like babies and puppies don't care about clout and status and possessions and fame and ranking people. Babies don't think like, oh man, I'm not in that person's league. They're just like, oh look, it's a person, I'm gonna blow bubbles at them, I'm gonna play with them. You know, they just treat animals and babies just like treat everyone equally because they're pure like that. So I feel like even though it's just you simply playing and spending time with them, I think it's bringing you back a perspective of what really matters. And maybe you guys have been overly focused on adult things, taking things too seriously, focus on material things, focus on proving yourself to people, focus on what people think of you. And these little bundles make you realize that doesn't really matter. Like they just restore your purity and innocence to your heart. I hope I'm doing a good job of explaining that. But with temperance as well, like this is balance. This is a healthy perspective. I also think of temperance as like an old soul or a lot of wisdom. And I think that pure souls like this, even though they're so simple, that in itself carries a lot of wisdom. Like they don't overcomplicate things. They don't stress over things that don't matter. So you're gaining a new perspective from whatever this is. So that was one interpretation that I see from this. And then if I interpret this in a less literal way, like without looking at the baby and the bear and just the meaning of the card, I can think of this as an additional source of income coming in. It's not so much a career change. It's more like a side hustle kind of vibe that I get from the Two of Coins. So I think you guys will keep doing what you are currently doing for work, but you'll start like a passion project on the side, or you'll start doing something that you really enjoy on the side. And maybe someday, like if you guys aren't happy with your current job, maybe someday you'll be able to completely move away and just focus on the thing that you love. But this does have the energy of balancing two things. Hopefully you'll be doing two things that you really enjoy equally. Like that would be super ideal. But for others, I feel like it's maybe you've picked up something else and are hoping that that's going to be a bridge to eventually just do that one day. And so, with a little bit more in your schedule, it will be important to make sure that you have a good work-life balance, make sure that you are taking care of your health. Health is a really big one for me when it comes to temperance. Like making sure that you're eating well, making sure that you're hydrating, making sure that you're sleeping, making sure that you're moving your body, especially if you have a lot of like desk work. And this could be also encouraging you to meditate, which is something I pick up from temperance anyway, but especially with this imagery, you guys might want to pick up meditating, just sitting quietly and observing your thoughts without resistance. Well, you know what meditation is. I don't know why I explained that, but so yeah, these are like the two different ways I can interpret these ones. And let's get a couple more now. What else can group 3 expect for blessings, opportunities, and changes? And we have the Empress. the Empress is Guadalupe in this deck, which I really, really like because she has a special place in my heart. My best friend gave me a picture of her, and so she's always with me. Woo! And okay, so 2 fell out. We're gonna take both of them. We have the 4 of Swords and the 4 of Wands. Wow, so we have 2 number 4s coming out, and they fell out together. So 44 might be an important number for you guys. And actually, maybe Guadalupe is trying to communicate with you guys. Wow. If you see the number 44, this means that you're on the right path. It means that you are protected. It means that you are loved. And again, there's 2 different ways that I can interpret this one. So, by the way, when I'm giving like the 2 different interpretations, please feel free to claim like all of them or like just a few of them or just one of them. I just want to get like as many of the possible scenarios out as possible. And maybe we just have a very mixed group with this one, with the group number 3s. So the first one that's coming to me is that you are going to have more time. Actually, I really like that, like in light of what we just saw here. You're going to have more time, more free time in your schedule to work on something that you really, really love, because the 4 of Swords is about like rest and inaction, and the 4 of Wands is about your passion or successfully completing a project or like following your calling, finding your purpose, finding what really lights you up, and being really happy and satisfied with what you're doing. So, you know, I was kind of worried here, like it looks like you're piling more onto your schedule, but for some of you guys, it's actually like some things are being removed from your schedule so that you can work on things that you love. So, like, if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to handle everything. I have this job, I have my other responsibilities, but I really want to work on my passion. Your guides are working to remove things from your life that are taking up your time and that you're not really feeling anymore so that you can work on what you really love. It's like your heart's desires and your schedule are finally aligned. You can finally prioritize the things that you really, really want to do. So, and I do think whatever's being removed from your schedule is like something that you weren't really a fan of anyway. like something is being canceled and you're like, oh man, that sucks. But really, it's like, welcome that this leaves your life. For those of you who are in a job that is like dissatisfying, maybe the workload is going to be less, and then you'll have more time to focus on your passion project, or it could be some responsibility outside of work that is disappearing, that's coming to an end. But you're spending a lot more time of your day-to-day routine doing things that you love, doing things that make you happy. I can say that for sure. Some of you guys, again, interpreting this super literally, some of you guys might be redecorating your bedroom or just like changing up the vibe in your room, or maybe cleaning your room so that it's a lot more comfortable, a lot more relaxing, so that you sleep a lot better. Because the 4 of Swords can literally talk about sleep, and the 4 of Wands talks about like a happy home or like a beautiful home. So that's a very literal way of interpreting this. And then another one is that a once stagnant love life is suddenly flourishing. Now, this can happen in any relationship status. It could be that you're single and that you're struggling to meet people, and then suddenly you meet the love of your life. It could be that you're in a committed relationship, but it's been feeling kind of dreary, kind of meh lately. Not a lot of sparks. And then the sparks start flying again, and you fall in love with each other again, and you feel the passion. And because the Empress is all about like love and fertility and beauty and abundance. So a once kind of stagnant or losing momentum love life is just like beautifully blossoming. If you have a person in mind, but you're not together with them yet, and there hasn't been much progress there, this can be showing things are escalating in a very, very happy way. So again, many, many different ways to interpret this. So let's move on now to the oracle cards for your advice. And look at this. We have relationship change. So I feel like for many of you, this could be talking about a beautiful blessing coming to your love life. Passion is coming. And again, this is regardless of your relationship status. If you're not in a relationship, I think a beautiful new relationship is blossoming. If you are in one, the passion is increasing, the intimacy is increasing. And I just see you guys being really, really happy with your relationships. Now there is something else coming through. So you remember there's like some burden is being lifted off you, or something is being removed from your schedule so that you can focus on things that you love. So if any of you have someone in your life who is very, very demanding, they might be starting to distance themselves from you, or they might be exiting your life entirely. Could even be somebody that you care about, but they're just a lot, and you may be establishing healthy boundaries with them. Or if this is really an unwelcome presence in your life, then they could be exiting your life entirely. But that's another way that I can interpret this card. Next, we have guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Yes, with you guys, moving towards your passion, moving towards your calling, your purpose, what you can do in the world that makes you really, really happy, you are going to be releasing things, or your guides are going to be releasing for you things that no longer assist in your soul's growth. And I think this card is coming up because there may be a little bit of guilt associated with that. Like if you start saying no more so that you can focus on what you really love, if you start creating healthier boundaries, or even ending some relationships that are no longer assisting in your growth, that could bring on a little bit of guilt, which I think is natural. And to some extent, maybe it's an inevitable emotion, but I think this is just here to let you know that you can feel that guilt and you can acknowledge it without letting it stop you from growing, without letting it stop you from doing what you need to do, doing what your soul is calling you to do. Then we have surrender. So I feel like a lot of these changes that are coming in, they are going to be divinely guided. So it's important for you guys to not resist the changes that are coming, to go with the flow like we've been speaking about. I feel like things are going to be changing in your routine. Some things are going to be leaving your life. Some chapters are going to be closing. And you're going to start to feel called to new directions. And I think the surrender card is just here almost like to give you permission to embrace that. Because I feel like the changes that are coming, it's where your soul really wants to go. And what is causing you, or what could cause you to resist the change, is really just guilt. Like, is it really okay for me to let this go? Is it really okay for me to move on to other things? And the answer is absolutely yes. This is like your soul's gift to you. Your calling is your soul's gift to you, and it is your divine right to follow it. And the final card that we have is Child, which is so interesting because I felt called to, very literally interpret this card with like a child coming into your life. So I definitely think that this is the case for many of you. Again, whether it is your own child or someone you love is having a child, I feel like there's going to be a child around you. And what's really interesting as well is that the Four of Wands can talk about weddings. The Empress can talk about fertility and motherhood, or just parenthood in general. So for those of you who have wanted to have children, this could be a really, really positive sign for that. Or you could be coming together with the person who is like your life partner, the person that you will marry, the person that you will have children with. Okay, so now we are going to take a few oracle cards for important time frames that you guys should know about. And I'm going to take 3 of them. And actually, let me just rearrange these so that there's more room for these oracle cards. Aren't they so beautiful? I love the colors. Okay, so First one that we have is Uranus. So this can be talking about Aquarius season, which will be late January to late February, not too far away. We also have Square. So this would be 3 months from now. So right now is like, oh, and that lines up perfectly because we are in late October now, and in 3 months from now, it will be late January, which is exactly the start of Aquarius season. And this is actually the first group out of all of them, I think, where 2 cards are pointing to the exact same time frame. So Aquarius season must be very, very important for you guys. So remember that. And your final time frame card, if I can pick it up, I might have to like bring it all the way around, is Black Moon Lilith. Okay, I am not sure how I'm supposed to interpret this one into a time frame, so let's get another one. Midheaven. Okay, so midheaven can actually be talking about Capricorn season, which makes, okay, I'm gonna come back to this in a second. Midheaven can be talking about Capricorn season, which makes a pretty close window with Aquarius because, of course, Capricorn season comes right before Aquarius season. So I really, really feel for you guys, like the months of January and February are going to be super important. In addition to that, if you guys do know your birth time, whatever your midheaven is could be an important time. So funnily enough, my midheaven is Aquarius. So if this were my reading, like it would just be like Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. But like, for example, if your midheaven is in Gemini, then Gemini season might be important for you. So, and then I can do the same thing with Lilith. I just, you know, if you don't know your birth chart off the top of your head, I don't want to like assign homework to you and make you look up your birth chart, but if you do happen to know which zodiac sign your Lilith is in, that could also be an important time. So like my Lilith is in Gemini, so like Gemini season could be important for me, but definitely across the board, January and February are going to be really important for you guys. So I'll leave her here as well. She deserves to be here. Okay, so these are all the messages that I'm seeing for you guys. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will see you in November. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the Hematite, this is going to be a reading all about blessings, opportunities, and changes that are coming to you in the rest of 2021 or in 2022. So we're going to start off this reading by shuffling the tarot and seeing what exactly these blessings and changes are. And then we will take a look at some oracle cards for some advice on how to navigate these changes, or how to make the most of these blessings and things like that. And then I also want to look at some oracle cards for any significant time frames that you should know about, because the window that we're looking at here is pretty big. It's from now to the end of 2022. So I just want to see if within this window there are any like specific times that you guys should keep your eyes open, you know? So that's how it's gonna go today. Let's get right into it, starting with the tarot. I'm gonna just do the disclaimer now because it's been a struggle. We are still in Mercury retrograde at the time that I'm filming this video, and I noticed that I've been having a lot of trouble like saying sentences. So please bear with me if you know, I'm taking a lot of pauses or like stumbling with my words. It's just one of those days. So This deck is super beautiful, by the way. It's the first time I'm using it in a video, and this was actually gifted to me, so it's even more special. I'm really, really happy and grateful to be using this today, and that's a lot. And I hope you guys enjoy this deck as much as I do. So for group number 4, you know what's interesting though? If I was doing like a connection reading, a relationship reading, for example, and like a million cards fell out like that, I generally take it to mean that, oh, this person is thinking about you a lot. There's a lot this person wants to say to you. So I feel like if we're doing a reading about blessings coming your way and opportunities coming your way, and a bunch of cards fall out like that, it's almost your guides being like, where do I start? I feel like they're trying to bring you so many blessings right now. And I've been looking at 3 for each of the piles, like 3 changes, 3 blessings. But for you guys, I think your guides want you to keep in mind that just because we're looking at 3 in this reading, it does not mean that your blessings are limited to 3. In fact, I would say, what would you call it? Multiple of 3? You know, like many times more than that is what I'm trying to say. So for group 4, what are the blessings, opportunities, and changes coming to... And it's the 8 of Wands. Yeah. Basically a confirmation of what I just said, because the 8 of Wands is literally like a bunch of things falling into your lap really quickly, all at once. Everything that you guys have been working towards, everything that you guys have been trying to manifest, I think your guides are saying that it's all about to fall into your life. Almost like they're dumping it on you all at once. Like, how can I think of it? It's imagine like you were writing letters to Santa all year. Like, I want this, I want that, I want this other thing, I want blah, blah, blah. And you send like 8 letters to Santa all year. And then on Christmas Day, you wake up and all 8 of your presents are beautifully wrapped and lined up under the tree. And you're just like overwhelmed, right? Like, cause it's all coming at once. And you're like, which do I open first? Which one do I start using first? It's like, imagine a kid just overloaded with excitement because they got like every single gift, every single toy that they asked for. And I think that there is some moment like this coming to you guys soon where like what you've been trying to manifest in love, what you've been trying to manifest in your career, what you've been trying to manifest in your friendships, in your physical appearance, in your personal growth, in your developing psychic abilities. There's like a moment of dumpage here. Now, of course, that's a very beautiful thing, but I feel like it could be a little bit overwhelming. And there could be a little bit of stress, but it's a good kind of stress. And I think a very clear example of this is like, let's say you were manifesting getting a puppy and manifesting your tarot business taking off. And then it happens at the same time. It's like 2 things that you really, really want, but now like you have to fulfill all of these personal reading requests while also taking care of a puppy. Or maybe you get a kitten like Tina and she's coming in and playing with all the cards. If you guys don't know, Tina's my sister's kitten who I have kitten sat a few times in the past few months, and she really likes to make an appearance in the videos. But you know, if you get too many things that you want at once, they can start interfering with each other. So there may just be kind of an awkward, stressful period where you're just figuring out how to organize all of your blessings and like how to prioritize them and stuff like that. But you'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. You'll get into your rhythm. It feels like kind of a clumsy way of the blessings being dumped onto you, but I know that you guys will figure it out. I'm also noticing that there's like a wintry, snowy background in this card. So even if you don't have snow in your country, wherever you are, it could be indicating that like whatever time of the year is winter for you in your part of the world could be significant. And let's get one more for this to clarify. Yeah, exactly. The 7 of Cups is literally about having too much in front of you and being overwhelmed and not knowing where to start and not knowing what to prioritize. I feel like this is really reiterating what we just talked about, but the Seven of Cups kind of has a feeling of like, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And I feel like for some of you guys, when all of this stuff comes into your life, there may be one thing or a couple things that you realize like, you know what? Maybe I don't really want this. Like, it seemed really shiny and amazing when it was in my head, but now that it's actually in my life, I'm honestly not sure if like I'm about this. I'm honestly not sure if this is really what I want. And that's okay. It's okay to change your mind, and it's okay. They're saying it's okay to send it back. You know, sometimes you get some Christmas presents and maybe one of them is like, oh, thanks, I love it. But then you know, it's not really your thing and then you return it. I don't know if you've ever done that, but you know, it's like I feel like it happens in TV shows a lot. Like where, like Rachel from Friends would return everybody's Christmas presents. Which of course is like not very nice if you're doing that to your friend, but I think your guides are saying it's okay to return it. Like if you manifested something and then it showed up and you realize that it's not really what you wanted, you don't have to feel like guilty for sending it back or for dropping it or anything like that. And in fact, maybe this whole thing was orchestrated as a lesson for you. Like, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Or like, sometimes you think you want something, but you're not ready for it. Sometimes you think you want something, but it was the idea of it that you liked more. So there may be a period where you're just learning how to discern, like, you know, what did I really want and what was I just in love with the idea? What am I maybe not ready for? And kind of sort through everything that you've been given. And it's okay to remove some of them. It's okay to send some of them back. Do not feel bad. Do not feel silly. Do not feel guilty. It's all a learning experience. And what's most important is that you're going to keep the stuff that really, really makes you happy. And that's really going to benefit you. Okay, so what else do we have for group 4? Blessings, opportunities, and changes. Ooh, we have the King of Cups. And the Nine of Cups. Oh my gosh. Okay, so, ooh, this Nine of Cups has a couple on it, it looks like, which is unique to this deck. A lot of water energy going on in this whole reading, actually, with the majority of water. For those of you who have any wishes regarding your relationship with a water sign person or somebody who has a lot of water in their chart, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, this can definitely be an indication that your wish with this person will come true. Whether that is that you want to be in a relationship with this person, you want to be friends with them, you want to work with them, you want to repair your relationship, you want to meet them in person if you've been separated by distance or by other factors. Your wish with this person will come true. That's a very big possibility with these cards. But the King of Cups can also very much be you. And this represents somebody who is really getting in touch with their emotions. And I can actually see how these are related because the King of Cups is very emotionally mature, very in touch with his feelings, and very in touch with his intuition. And I feel like the more you guys are in touch with your feelings and your intuition, the more you can trust the desires and the whims that are passing through you, the more you will be able to discern why you want the things that you do. Like, I want this because it's in alignment with my soul's path. I want this because of this void that I'm feeling within me, and I just think this will make me feel better. And you can kind of start to discern the reasons for why you want certain things. And that's going to come with a strengthening of your intuition. And then with that, I think life becomes less stressful and life becomes more simple. The Nine of Cups is very much wish fulfillment. That's definitely a meaning of it, but it also just has this feeling of contentment, of satisfaction with what you already have, and with life just being peaceful and simple. And I think when you're in touch with your heart and you know what you want, life becomes very, very simple. And also, one that I just thought of is like, I don't really want this. I just thought I wanted it because everybody else wants it. Or like, I just thought that that's what I was supposed to want. But when you really know yourself, you stop caring about what everybody else thinks you should want or what's the norm to want. And you just want what your soul wants. So I think that's becoming very, very clear to you guys. And then it becomes really clear, like, literally, like, your inner compass is becoming so powerful that I think a lot of indecision in your life is going to be resolved. No longer are you asking, like, should I stay or should I go? Should I go this way or that way? Because your heart always knows the answer. And you and your heart, you're like this. Your reception, your phone service with your heart is so clear. You know what you want. You know that the universe can fulfill it for you. And so you move forward with confidence. And life becomes very peaceful and very simple like this. Oh, I love that. I really like that. So moving forward, I think you guys are manifesting things easily, simply, because there's no confusion, there's no indecision, there's no, what's the word? Would you call it deception? Like when you think you want something but not really? I guess there's a lot of purity in your intentions and there's a lot of purity in your desires. So they manifest to you easily and effortlessly. I also think this could be you guys developing a closer bond with your spirit guides, or just developing a closer bond to the soul world in general. And again, if there's like a specific water sign that you guys are trying to manifest into your life, I feel like that's going to come to you easily because you feel a genuine pull to them. You feel a genuine fondness for them. It's not like superficial. It's not like, ooh, this new shiny thing, or it's not what people think you should want. It's just what your soul wants. And so I feel that connection, if that resonates with you, like a water sign person connection. You see, I'm having a bit of trouble with words, but I feel like your guides are really facilitating that for you, and you guys are heavily protected. Okay, so what else do we have for group number 4 in terms of blessings, opportunities, and changes? 5 of coins. And the Page of Wands. So this is kind of giving me like blessing in disguise vibes. The 5 of coins has to do with lack, especially material lack. It has to do with feeling left out, or just feeling that something is not good enough for you, or that something is not sustaining you or supporting you in the way that it should. What I think I'm seeing here is spirit bringing to your attention things that are not supporting you in the way they should, or a person or people who are not valuing you in the way that they should. You see this person like is not dressed properly, has to light this candle to keep warm, is left outside. There's a feeling of her not being valued or not being supported. So it's like spirit is bringing to your attention the ways in which you haven't properly been nurtured or supported, but is bringing this to you as an opportunity for you to break free and start something new. So if I can just give an example, let's say you are working at a job and then you find out, or you just feel that this job hasn't been paying you fairly. But then let's say you find out that like other people who are working similar jobs are getting paid a lot more. And there's this feeling of you being left out, like this isn't fair. I'm trying to think of a verb to describe lack. I'm being shortchanged, I'm being lowballed, I'm being deprived of something. I'm kind of dancing around it, but I hope maybe you guys know the right word that I'm trying to get at. You realize that you've been living with lack when you should have been getting more. You deserved more out of that situation. And it doesn't honestly have to be financial. It could be like you have been accepting a certain kind of treatment from other people, but then spirit brings to your attention, like, it's not normal to be treated this way. Like, you're asking for the bare minimum and you're not getting it. Another example that's coming to me is like, let's say your group of friends is always like roasting you or teasing you, and you just think like that's what friends are like. Like, oh yeah, friends are always like making fun of each other. It's just playful banter. And then maybe you hang out with your friends and other people are there and someone pulls you aside and is like, dude, like, why are those people being so mean to you? This has actually happened in my friend group before. There was this person who would like talk so much shit about us, and we were like, haha, like friendly jokes. And then the other people at the party were like, is that person your friend? Because they're being super mean. So sometimes when you've just been in that situation for so long, you don't realize that you're being basically treated like crap or undervalued. Maybe that was the word that I was trying to think of, undervalued. So spirit's kind of bringing this to your attention to offer you an opportunity to seek something better for yourself. So it might really feel like a kick in the stomach, or like a punch in the stomach, I should say, in the moment. But the Page of Wands is like an exciting new start. Breaking free, it's more independent, it's more authentic. So like, this is your opportunity to quit that job or to leave that friend and turn a new leaf and to be confident. I feel like the second this influence leaves your life, you start to feel like yourself again. You start to feel confident again. You start to feel like you can do anything again, because that's what the Page of Wands is really all about. Some of you guys are really meant to start something more independent. I do feel for many of you this will be career related, because the Page of Wands often talks about like starting a new project that's close to your heart, that allows you to be more creative, that allows you to call more of the shots, where you get to set your price. You get to set your own price rather than somebody else determining how worthy you are. This is you being more empowered and being more in charge. But it can also be you guys like taking the reins and liberating yourself from a personal or social situation where you haven't felt valued. But it's something like this. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle cards now that I have previously shuffled. Oh, this is upside down. I know, because this one is upside down. From various decks to see what your advice is. We have happy ending coming here with the number 93. So the number 9 is about a cycle in your life has almost come to an end. You are about to level up. And then the number 3 talks about abundance and expansion. So it definitely looks like, keeping this part in mind, it definitely looks like you guys have outgrown something. And this is here to let you know that the new chapter that is to come is going to be much happier than the chapter you're closing off. It's going to bring you a lot more material wealth. And also, it's going to make you feel, it's going to make you feel yourself again, because the number 3 is confident, is expansive, is communicative, is very, very creative, like very creatively inspired. And when you're undervalued, when you're undersupported, it really, really stifles your creativity. I had this weird dream a few days ago, and it was like people were pregnant. People were pregnant, but like the pregnant people who got fed more snacks like were more successful, and the pregnant people who didn't get fed were less successful. And it was like, it was spirit's weird way of showing me that like when people have potential, you need to nurture them, you need to support them. And so the pregnancy was like a symbolism for like the potential of what we can birth from ourselves, or like what we can create from ourselves. But we can't just be expected to make a baby just with our body. We need food too. Like we need to fuel our body in the process of creating this baby. And so when I woke up, I was like, what the heck was this dream? But then upon thinking about it, I realized what spirit was trying to show me. So I think you guys are moving into a new environment where your pregnancy is being fed, your creativity is being fed, and you realize it's not just on me or just on what comes from within me to produce good quality stuff. I need to be supported too. Like, you can't put me in an underpaying job that doesn't value me and expect me to do well. It just doesn't happen. Like, you need positive reinforcement as well. Like, it's not just about money. You need to be praised for the good work that you're doing. And so I think there's something in your life right now, or maybe you've recently left this situation where it was like you were expected to perform well, or you were expected to do well, or you were expected to be happy when you weren't getting the right kind of fuel. And so you're moving away from this, and it's like, I'm 8 of Wands too, like it's so quick, the split second, and I'm seeing 2222 on the camera timer right now, so I know this is important. The split second you leave this behind, it's like you immediately feel like yourself again. You immediately feel light in your feet again. That's not how you say it, but you immediately feel creative again. Like, you get your mojo back, for real. Indecision. Oh my gosh, I use my intuition in all aspects of my life. This is like what I was talking about with the King of Cups. Whenever you feel any indecision or uncertainty, it's your heart that you... What was that noise? Did you just hear a bubbling sound, or was that in my head? I'm gonna have to like watch this back in editing and see if there was actually a bubbling sound, but I heard like bloop, 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 bloop. I don't know what that means, but whenever you have moments of indecision or uncertainty, it's your heart that you have to go back to. It's important to have a balance of both, like our logical reasoning side and our emotional, intuitive side. And some situations call for different things, but I feel like when it comes to your energy and what comes naturally to you, and especially at this point in your life, you're really, really, really being called to use your heart in any decisions that you make. That's what's going to lead you to your happy ending. The next oracle card that we have is Trust. I love that there's a freaking heart on here. Trust your heart. It's a complete reiteration of what we just talked about. And I also think that, you know, this dark blue color being associated with the third eye chakra, it's like see past the 3D situation, see past that veil, and see what your intuition is trying to tell you. Your intuition will never lead you astray. And I feel like there's maybe a couple things in your life right now that it's like your intuition is oh my God, your intuition has been trying to tell you something for a long time, but it's just been like simmering under the surface, and your intuition doesn't want to be ignored anymore. And then we have worthy. You guys are worthy. You guys are worthy of so much more in your life, and maybe that's what your intuition has been trying to tell you. When I don't feel comfortable or valued in a situation, it's because I'm worthy of more. And when I feel drawn to something, and when I feel like I deeply desire something, it's because I'm worthy of experiencing it. And when I hear a message, it's worth being heard. My intuition is worth following. And I'm worthy of everything my soul is pulling me to. That's your advice for navigating all of this. That's beautiful. Okay, so to finish off this reading, I'm going to shuffle some cards from the Celestial Bodies Oracle deck. This is going to be the time frame part. So I'm going to take 3, and we'll look at like 3 potential points in this kind of long window that could be important. We did mention winter season, whenever winter is, or whenever the colder season is where you are in the world, with the 5 of coins as well. That could also be a sign of that. And that fell on the floor, but it is stellium. So it kind of looks like stellium is when you have like many planets really, really close to each other. And I feel like this is kind of mirroring the vibe of the 8 of Wands, where your blessings are kind of coming into your life like boop, 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 like maybe that's what that bubbling noise was that I heard earlier. They're falling into your life in succession, and the feeling that I get from this stellium card is like it's imminent. Like literally something could start happening later today or like tomorrow. This gives me the feeling of like a matter of days. Something's gonna start changing. And then in the days to follow, just things are happening in succession. So think of this as like as soon as like now, or like a matter of days. You know, sometimes I see comments on my videos, like for example, I don't know, like a relationship reading, and I'm like, this person is thinking about you and they want to reach out to you. And then I'll see comments of people saying like, I literally watch your reading and right when you said that, this person texted me. Things like that happen sometimes. So I like really as soon as now, I feel for this card. Maybe your water sign's gonna reach out to you later. And then we have 7. So maybe this is talking about like the next 7 days. Like in a week from now. If I extend it a little bit, it could be 7 weeks. So like roughly within the next 2 months is gonna be really important. And then we have the Grand Cross. So this is a card that I think of 3 months. Oh, and I just said 2 months. So, all right, things are gonna start unfolding for you guys within days, within the next few days, but the next 2 to 3 months roughly is gonna be like the period when all of these dominoes are falling, is what it looks like, okay? So these are all the messages that I see for you guys. I'm gonna end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will see you guys in November. Bye-bye.